Okay, here I am at the Funtime screen. I'm going to start a new document, and I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11 inches. Then I'm going to import the Kaleidoscope, so I'll go to File, Import, Image, and I'd saved it in my Photos New folder. So I'll click on the image, hit Open, and that brings it into the program. I'd like to center this on my page, so I'll go to the Justification toolbar, and I'm going to drag and drop this onto the bottom toolbar. That way it will remain open throughout the remainder of the project. So to center the image, click on the red icon, and that will center it both vertically and horizontally on my page. Then I'm going to click on the Shift key and the letter M, and this will bring up my transformation box. Click on my Kaleidoscope again, go back to Rotation, and under Angle type 45 degrees, make sure the dot is in the center, and click Apply. Then I'm going to go to Condense, and you can see I've got kind of an odd number or dimension for the height and the width. So just to make this easy, I'm going to just replace those numbers with 7 and hit Apply. Okay, then I'll click Center again. Now the next step is to make two separate vector files. One will be for the score lines and the other will be for the cut lines. So we'll start with the score lines. I'll click on the rectangle tool, and then where these two lines intersect, just hold down your Shift key and draw a box. And it doesn't have to be exact at this point, and actually I'll go in a little bit closer, and I'll click on Center, and you can see it does fall a little bit short, but we'll change that in a moment. So let me scroll out again. While I have this selected, I'm going to hold down my Control key and drag another copy off to the side. And then the square that's on top of the Kaleidoscope, go back to Rotation, and it should still be set at 45 degrees and the center, and hit Apply. Now remember, we changed the dimension of the Kaleidoscope to 7 by 7, so I've still got my yellow square selected here. I'm going to go to Condense, and under Height I'm going to type 7. Then I'm going to click Apply, and then I'm going to click Center. Okay, so it looks like I do need to make it slightly wider. Now I do want the vector image to be slightly smaller than the actual Kaleidoscope. So you can see a little bit of the outline of the Kaleidoscope behind this yellow diamond. Okay, so that's the first one done. So while I have it selected, I'm going to go back to Rotation, and now I need it to go at 90 degrees, also in the center, but I need to duplicate it first and then hit Apply. So I'm going to select both these items, make sure that they're centered. Okay. Then I'll select the first one, hold down my Shift key and select the second one, click on Weld, then I'm going to remove the color, and I'll deselect everything. Then I'm going to click on the Kaleidoscope and just move that off to the side here for a moment. Then I'm going to bring this square, center it, and I'll do a refresh. And when I zoom in, now you can see we do need to make some changes to this box. So I'm going to remove the color so it's easier to work with. And just a quick note, the lines, they may look dashed on the video, but they actually are solid lines. So we're going to work just with the corners here. I'm going to select this first corner and pull it in. Then go to the opposite corner and do the same thing. And that way you'll maintain the aspect ratio of the square. So that looks really good. So I'm going to zoom out. Just going to recenter everything, just make sure it's all lined up. Then I'm going to hit Shape and Group because I want these all to be grouped together. And with my mouse, I'm going to right click on the red and assign the lines a red color. Okay, so that's our first vector shape, and this will be the one that makes the score lines for the pyramid box. The second vector line, and I'm going to zoom in just on this top triangle right here. What we'll do is we'll begin by making a tab, and then we're going to copy and mirror this throughout the rest of the image. So we'll go up to this icon over here, and it's just the straight line tool. Click on it to select. Then put your mouse over the square where the two lines intersect. Hold down your Shift key, draw a straight line up, release your mouse, and then release your Shift key. Then draw another line that is parallel to the triangle. Then release, and then start a new one, and finish that at the top point of the triangle. Okay? Now I've got that selected, and with a right click on my mouse, I'm going to assign this a black cut line. I'm going to zoom in on this bottom corner, and I've still got it selected, and I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to line that line up to where those two lines on the square intersect. Okay? Then I'm going to just zoom in on this top point. Let me bring this onto the screen, and you can see that that does not match up. So I need to go over to the Move Point tool, select that. Then I'll use that to place this just above the peak of the triangle here. Okay. All right. So I've got my first tab done. Now the rest of them are easy after this one. I'm going to just select it. Then I'm going to go over to Mirror, and I'm going to choose the Center Right Mirror option. Click Duplicate and Apply. Okay. Then I'm going to just drag a box around these two. Still in my Mirror tool, I'm going to click on the bottom, hit Duplicate and Apply. Then I'll just click outside to deselect everything, and sometimes it lets me select and sometimes it doesn't. So I'll have to do it individually. So click on the first one, hold down your Shift key, click on the second one, then hold down your Shift key again, and now you can pull those two tabs down and they'll stay straight. Okay? And I'm going to zoom in on those just in case I need to make some changes. And I'm going to use the downward arrow on my keyboard just to position those, because it just needed to be moved just slightly. Okay, so I have those two in place now. So now I'll draw a box around all four of these tabs, go to Rotation. I've got 90 degrees selected, and that's what I would like. And then I need to have the dot in the center. Hit Duplicate and Apply, and now you've got the final four sets of tabs, or four tabs. Okay, but of course we have a bunch of open points here, so we need to close them. So we'll go up to the Select Elements tool, and actually I'll go to the Move Point tool, I'm sorry, and then we'll select this icon right here, and I know that I have an open point at each of the points and then each of these corners right here. So I'm just going to go around this file and close everything up, and sometimes the program will take care of some of these for you, but just click on it and drag it off just to make sure that it's all one piece. Okay, so here you can see we've got our black lines will be the cut lines, and the red lines will be the score lines. And again, these are all solid lines, they are not dashed lines. So I'll select both of these again, center them on the page, and just take a closer look. And it looks like everything's lined up very well. Okay. So now I'm going to, because this is a print and cut, I do need to print the image. But before I do that, I need to prepare the page. So I'll go up to File and select Crop Mark. And that brings this crop mark right in here. So I'll pull that in. So once we go to the machine, what we're going to do is align the laser so that it falls dead in the center of these two crosshairs. Okay. So now what I want to do is bring this image back onto my page. I'm going to select all of these elements, but not their crop marks. Click Center. Then I'm going to go back up to Rotation, and I'm going to say 45 degrees. Click Apply, and this will bring the file back to its original state, because this is the shape when we brought it in. This is the orientation that it was in. And I'm just going to pull it down the page a little bit and just make sure that it does not go past this line or below this line right here. And then the final thing we need to do before sending it to the printer is click on the image, then go up to this toolbar here and select closest position. Okay? If I didn't do that, what would happen is the black lines and the red lines would be printed on top of this image, and I don't want that. These lines that you see here, don't worry about those because the cutter is going to cut those away. Okay? So now this is ready to be sent off to the printer. So let me send that off, and then I'll set my camera up and we can see how this all comes together and cuts out on the Gazelle. So here's the printed image, and I've gone ahead and secured it to the mat. And for the best print and cut results, take some time and make sure that you align this to the mat both horizontally and vertically. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and load the paper into the machine. And I'm going to remove the cutting blade because I'll be using the engraving tool, and this is what we're going to use to make the score marks. So just secure that into the machine, and you can get this from Scrap Savvy. Now I've activated the laser, and I'm going to set that up so that it falls directly in between those crosshairs of the crop mark. Okay. So now I've got that in place. I'll hit the align button again, and now the machine knows exactly where to start the score lines. Now for the pressure, I take it all the way back to the very first option, or the lightest option. Because remember, I just want to make a score mark and not a cut line. So you can see the engraving tool is going around the edges of the image, and then it's going to make that square in the center. Now gently remove the engraving tool, and if you do move the head of the laser, you need to do the alignment again. So just take your time, put the blade in, and I'm going to just tighten up the bolt. Then I'll have to increase the pressure because now I do want to cut through the paper. And I've selected the black cut lines. This way, this will cut out those tabs. And that's it. So now your print and cut is complete, and I will remove this from the machine and show you how it all folds together. Okay, so I've removed the pyramid box from the mat, and I've gone ahead and already folded these lines just to make this go a little bit quicker, and I've got a piece of yellow paper behind it just so you can see the contrast. So you'd begin by just folding up each of the triangles, and then you would fold up the side tabs, and you could use a bone folder just to make these creases you know, a bit more defined. So you can see this goes rather quickly. And once that's all together, just push up two of the sides, pull up the third one, and then the fourth one. And in the finished project, I had actually punched holes at the top of each of the peaks and just strung a ribbon through there. And you can see this looks pretty on the bottom as well. So I hope you like this project and that it has inspired you to make one of your own.